Here is the toilet paper aisle at Bueller's. Got plenty of food, but no toilet paper. Good afternoon, everybody. I hope everybody's doing great through this toilet paper pandemic. No, but all honestly, guys, please stay safe out there with the virus rolling around. Keep your distance, wash your hands, stay home if you can, you know the drill. Thanks everybody for sending in your Sasquatch stories, encounters. I appreciate it. It's awesome. I'm sharing as many stories as I can. It's incredible. If you'd like to share your story, please leave a comment down below. I'll get in touch with you. If you're enjoying the Sasquatch series, please like, subscribe, hit that notification bell. That way you get all the uploads coming in. So I do appreciate it, guys. Thank you. Stay safe, and I hope you enjoy this video. This guy seems extremely credible. It's one of the most fascinating encounters I've read so far through email, and I can't wait to share it. I hope you guys enjoy with everybody staying home. Continue to watch those YouTube videos. Smash a like. See you guys soon. Let's get this started. I'd like to start out by saying that I wish to be anonymous. With that being said, here is my encounter, my story. I'm not much for emails, I'm not internet savvy, and I'm far from being a great typer, so I'll make this as easy to understand as possible. My encounter happened with my brother in a place we call the Back Nine, and I don't mean a golf course. I'll explain this the best way I know how. My mother had passed when I was 16 and my brother was 18. My father was in the military, and we lived on 226 acres, most of which was forested. Directly behind our house was an open 9-acre field. There was woods on both sides, and there was a fence line at the back of the field that was mostly pin oak. Now visualize that we crossed that first field and we're standing on the fence line. On the other side of the fence line, there was a 60-acre long field. It was only 12 acres across. And on the other side of that 12 acres was the Back Nine. The Back Nine was a 9-acre patch of woods that belonged to us as well. To the left of the Back Nine was one other field. Separating our field from that was a fence line. That field belonged to the farmer who we'll call Edgar. Now the back side and the right corner of the woods was not far from the Appalachian Trail and was connected to other forested areas. We were not supposed to go back there because in the mid-90s there was 2 teenage bodies found in Edgar's cornfield, and those murders were never solved. My father did not want us to go back there alone. This was just one of a few reasons why he didn't want us to go back there. Another one was there was a ravine that ran halfway through. It was 55 feet deep, but it was only 25 yards across, so it made it dangerous, especially when raccoon hunting at night. Edgar and my father were pretty close friends. They'd often have coffee just about every morning, and often they'd talk about the property in the Back Nine. Edgar lived here for 64 years, and his father before him, the same as my father. They would often sit and talk about the screams and howls that would come from the Back Nine in the back of Edgar's property. My father would say, "It ain't no yodel dog, and it sure as hell ain't no bobcat." There was also weird things like trees bent over in odd manners. Edgar and my father called them seasonal Sasquatch, meaning that they were only there a certain time of year. They would hear the knocks and howls from mid-November to early spring and wouldn't hear it for the rest of the year. There was also sounds of an axe man in the woods. They would hear what sounded like chopping or knocking sounds. This would also occur at the same time of the year. To be honest, I never really bought into the whole Bigfoot thing because I'd never seen one, and I'd never really noticed the sounds. Of course, I wasn't really paying attention. Now let's get to the story. My brother and I were avid coon hunters. We had 2 Walker treeing hounds. The male was named Colt. He was 5 years old, and he was a 2-time champion. Then we had Sky. She was 1.5 years old. She was young. She was not particularly good at treeing yet, but she did have one heck of a nose. Now, this evening, we had started hunting at the front of Edgar's property, and we started hunting at 11:30 p.m. We hunted all the way up until 4:30 a.m. Of course, we stopped to eat. We'd only got 2 coons and 1 possum that we treed, and we left it alone. My brother wasn't done yet, so after covering Edgar's property, we decided to hit our own. We released the dogs out back at around 4:35 a.m. and they cruised straight through the first backfield to the fence line. While we were waiting on our dogs to catch a trail, my brother and I were sitting there discussing what it would be like when he goes away to college, girls, etc., stuff like that. You know how it goes when they're young. 15 to 20 minutes later, they treed. We could hear the dogs, we looked at each other, and we knew instantly that they were at the back 9. We didn't dare wake our father up at 4:30 in the morning, let alone we weren't really scared because we weren't really caught up on the whole Bigfoot thing. It was going to be an easy walk to the back 9 as those 2 fields were primarily flat, which was pretty nice being in East Tennessee, especially in mountainous area and hilly terrain. Now, it being almost a full moon, our eyes had adjusted. We did have a lantern and we had 2 headlamps. The headlamps were not on, and we were carrying a backpack and our Ruger 10/22. We approached the back 9, and we instantly noticed as we entered the woods that our dog were treed up on a den tree or a beech tree. So the raccoon actually wasn't up in the tree, he was inside denned up. Now we approached the dogs, which were actually only about 10 yards off of the ravine itself, which is pretty dangerous. We were worried and we wanted to get the dogs backed off the ravine. We weren't going to get the raccoon anyway. We were fumbling around to get the dogs. We could not see the coon as he was inside the tree, and we knew it was a lost cause. Here's where it gets a little bit crazy. My brother had set the lantern down so that we could retrieve the dogs. I noticed something across the ravine. What caught my attention, and I noticed it caught my brother's attention as well, was it looked like someone breathing cold air. We both peered up and turned on our headlamps, and not more than 45 yards away was this massive, gigantic hominoid or beast. When I tell you that I've never been more terrified in my life, I can't even describe to you the feeling that I felt. What was only seconds felt like a lifetime. Standing in front of us was a massive Bigfoot. Now with the lights on him, I never saw glowing eyes. They weren't red or amber. His eyes seemed to be almost closed as they were sunken in his head. His eyes could have been glowing, but his breath was masking most of his face. The main thing that I noticed was he's completely covered in hair, dark black or brown, and he had a ton of twigs and leaves caught up in his hair. People often ask me if I could smell him. I didn't smell anything. I was truly terrified, but no, I did not smell an odor. And our dogs didn't even acknowledge the Bigfoot. They were so caught up on a tree, they didn't even move. They kept barking and clawing away at the opening in the den tree. The Bigfoot turned to his side, and at that point, my brother and I left the lanterns and the dog and took off running towards the field. Yes, we left the dogs. From the tree to the field, I don't remember where my brother was. I was so terrified, I was just running. We met up with each other and continued to run once we had broken the wood line, and a rock was hurled through the trees. We didn't look back, not one time. We ran straight to the back door. The dogs remained barking the entire time. They were still treed. Us entering the back door woke my father up as we frantically told him what happened. And my father wouldn't even go back there. He said, "It's only an hour till daylight. We will go get the dogs as soon as the sun comes up." As we did. The dogs were never bothered. They never got off the tree. They never chased the Bigfoot. They never left the tree. We went back, retrieved the dogs. Now, pretty close to where we had entered the woods, there was a large sapling that was bent over. Too large for a human to bend, in my personal opinion. And at that point, I believed I was a knower. And not only that, the tree bending made sense. They were marking their territory. My father said that they were only seen because they wanted us to be seen. My father actually saw one 2 days later in the morning time back by the pin oak fence line. After that, we never saw one again. The following fall, my brother went off to college, and I never went coon hunting again. I actually gave the coon hounds to my nephew, and then I joined the military when I turned 18. As my father said, you're not going to see one unless they want you to see them. And as primitive as they are, I truly think there's way more to them than we can ever begin to understand. Thanks for listening, and I hope you guys enjoyed. Please, once again, I'd like to remain anonymous. Thank you.